We've all had that day where we stopped, looked back, and took stock of where we are in our careers. This is my Ignite session from 2015 based on my article, Designers, Tornadoes, and a Whole New World, done in February of 2015. We all started our craft pretty much the same way. We went to school, we sat in these classes, we learned the software, we learned all about how print is outputted and PDF and all those wonderful things. And after that, we chose a path. We chose to either go into publishing, project management, content creation, design, all of those wonderful things. And we sat in these great environments and agencies and companies, and we created. We created beautiful work that went into print, and it was posters and books and catalogs and labels and all of these wonderful things that represent companies. And it was very predictable. Our career was very predictable, a nice existence and pretty sky, and we were the creatives. We were the people who, put vision to things. But then this happened. I remember watching this keynote, and I don't know how many of you did, but this changed my life. I turned off that launch for the iPad and thought, my life has changed. As a designer, everything is about to change, and I was right. It was a huge game changer. There were so many new options now. It was a whirlwind of options that impacted the design industry, and, well, essentially, we're not in Kansas anymore. I looked at that, and I thought, wow, everything is going to connect. You've got the computer, and the computer's going to go to the tablet, and then people are going to read things on their iPhones, and it's going to become this very mobile market and this very mobile environment where I'm going to have to create work that's responsive. And then they showed the magazines, where before I used to design static. I'm looking at this going, oh, it's very beautiful, interactive. How am I going to do that? I do static. I do print. How am I going to do interactivity? Not to mention now the multiple sizes. I was looking at this going, wow, it's another e-reader size. It's going to add to all these other ones. How the heck am I going to manage all those files? How do I output all of that? How do I keep up with all the different changes? Not to mention the multi-channels that you do when you design for businesses. It's all going to connect to social media skins and advertisements for that. And that's a lot of files. It's changing my entire workflow. And if I'm confused, my clients were even more confused. This is what they looked like, shell-shocked as I sat in meetings with them saying, okay, well, I know you want to output this. What size do you want it? What platform are you going to want it? It's a lot. What I realized is that it changed my role. As I sat in those meetings, I realized I was no longer just a designer. I was turning into a trusted guide. I was going to help them move them along because I'm no longer just a designer, I'm also the technical person. And what that did is it changed my role as a designer. I wasn't being brought in at the third step after strategy and marketing. I was being brought in much sooner to be part of the team and to help input on the planning. Pre-planning became huge. I now had more input on, budgets and understanding how it was all going to flow and work out and how it was all going to be executed. I became part of a collaborative team that did input on how everything was going to roll out, and hearing all of the strategy and hearing about the budgets and understanding how it's going to impact the business. Our roles have changed. As designers, they've changed. We can't go back. It's done. Now we need to embrace it. We need to network and find our space and keep learning. Never stop learning. Conferences like the Print and ePublishing Conference are key to building a network. Because if I need to find an answer and I don't know the answer, I need to find the pros who do. And that's where you find them. We all need to be an advocate for the new designer because it all starts with each one of us. If we don't advocate for ourselves and see our value, then who will? I wrote this article, and it's called Designers, Tornadoes, and a Whole New World, and it's published on my LinkedIn profile. You can find my LinkedIn profile under my name, Renee Brisson-Khan. I hope you read it. I hope you'll comment it. And I hope you'll now be an advocate.